Tube. What's up? Remember that commercial? Budweiser? Classic. As you can tell, I live a lot of my life in the past by the things I say and watch and do and play and stuff. So always thinking of old commercials and stuff up there. Anywho, as you know, my storage on my phone situation is not great, so I'm just going to get right into it. I have been up to a number of things lately. First thing, my son and I have continued our Mega Man quest, most recently beating Mega Man 6, which was the last Mega Man game released on the NES. In this one, the story is that there's been this robot fighting tournament organized, but at the last minute, this mysterious Mr. X comes on the scene and says, "Mwahaha, I've taken control of all these robots and I'm going to set about world domination." So once again, Mega Man's called to action to stop these robots. And in this one, let's see if I can remember, there's Wind Man, Plant Man, Flame Man, Blizzard Man, Tomahawk Man, Yamato Man, Centaur Man, and Night Man. So you have to defeat, those are the 8 robot masters you have to defeat. And then after that, it's the usual format. First you go to Mr. X's castle, defeat the 4 levels there, and then, of course, Mr. Wily is the Grand Master behind everything. So then you go to Dr. Wily's castle, defeat the 4 levels there, and beat the game. And at the end of this game, you finally manage to capture Dr. Wily. He always manages to escape at the end of all the previous games, but in this one, Mega Man finally brings him in and jails him. So that's a little bit of a different ending for this one. So again, you can't beat a Mega Man game. Total 10. That's bottom line. They're just that good. So next thing, I finished reading this book recently. It's called Thrawn Alliances. If you're familiar with, I guess, some of the original Star Wars books from like the original ones that were released a long time ago, the Timothy Zahn trilogy of was it Heir to the Force or something like that, but this Grand Admiral Thrawn was introduced in those stories, and then he's appeared in other stuff like the Star Wars Rebels TV show and stuff like that, and future books as well. But he's a Chiss alien from the unknown regions of space, and he's a very tactical thinker, very smart, and despite his very alien nature, he somehow comes to the attention of the Emperor and rises in ranks in the Empire. And so in this story, the Emperor has sensed a great disturbance in the Force way out in the unknown regions, and so he tasks his 2 biggest enforcers, Darth Vader, obviously, and Grand Admiral Thrawn, to go and check it out. Vader because he's amazingly gifted in the Force and is a beast, and Thrawn because he is from that area of space and might have some insights, plus of his critical thinking. The 2 don't like each other, they don't like working together, so the whole time it's kind of a struggle between the 2 of Vader not trusting Thrawn's alien nature and questioning his loyalty to the Empire and to the Emperor, whereas Thrawn doesn't appreciate Vader's proneness, that's not even a word, to violence and jumping the gun and just not thinking things through before acting. And while this adventure is going on and they get to the bottom of it, a side adventure kind of takes place from years ago in the Clone Wars when Padme was taken to this, drawn to this small world out in the unknown regions of space called Batu, when one of her handmaidens, former handmaidens, and trusted agents sent back news that there was some sort of serious separatist activity going on this planet. And when she doesn't check in with Anakin, he rushes there to try and find her, and along the way kind of meets Thrawn before he was ever involved with the Empire. And he's going to the same place, so they kind of reluctantly join forces and figure out what's going on. And so it's the main deal with the book isn't necessarily the end results. It's kind of the relationship between Thrawn and Vader from the past and the future, comparing them, and how everything unfolds around that relationship. So very interesting book, very good book, and I think Batu is going to feature in very prominently in future Star Wars stories. I just with the Galaxy's Edge thing, I think that's going to be a big play for the future of the series. So I can't wait to see what comes next in that regard. Next up, I finally rewatched this, Deadpool 2. Oh my god, so funny. So in Deadpool 2, Wade Wilson at the start is trying very hard to kill himself, and he explains why. After the first movie, he went on an international tear, tracking down gangsters, sex offenders, thugs, drug dealers, and just wiping them off the face of the earth. One of these men followed him back to America and attacked his apartment, and in the process killed Vanessa, his love. And they were just about to start a family. Wade is devastated, and so he just doesn't want to live anymore. Tries very hard to kill himself, but once again, Colossus of the X-Men drags Wayne out of the fire, literally, and pieces him back together at the X-Mansion, and Wade has some time to think, and he finally decides, okay, maybe I'll join the X-Men and see. And their first mission together is to this orphanage where they are supposed to rehabilitate mutants, but really they just try to take away their powers and abuse them in the process. So a new kid there, who dubs himself Fire Fist, loses it one day and causes a big incident out in front of the orphanage, and so the X-Men are called there, and they try to sort out the situation. Wade does very well until he talks to this Fire Fist kid and finds out that they've actually been abusing him and stuff. So then he starts killing people. So then he gets taken to like the most serious prison there is, along with Fire Fist, and that's when a time traveler from the future named Cable comes to find Fire Fist, because in the future Fire Fist kills his family. So then Wade thinks this Cable guy is after him, of course, and so they have this big escape and fight, and Fire Fist gets caught and remains in jail, whereas Wade gets free, and Wade knows he has to free this Fire Fist kid and save his life from Cable, and so he recruits these people and they form X-Force, and their first mission, their only mission to save Fire Fist, is a horrible failure, and only one of the X-Force members make it out, Domino, whose superpower is being lucky, and together they try and free Fire Fist and run into Juggernaut, and they don't quite make the save. So in the end, Cable comes to Wade and says, I can't do this without you, and he explains the whole situation, and so Wade agrees to join Cable, but says, I want a chance at saving him before you kill him, and then the rest of it unfolds from there. And it's just so fun. Ryan Reynolds is a Canadian treasure. I'm so proud he's Canadian, because it's not enough that he's cool enough to want to make a Deadpool movie, but to be Deadpool and be so goddamn funny as Deadpool. It's nice to see Canadian actors like him be so amazing. Next, I actually don't have a cover for this. Many videos ago I mentioned a Nickelodeon show called Sam and Cat that me and James really like. And the two characters there, Sam came from iCarly, Cat came from a show called Victorious. So we wanted to go back and see what happened before. iCarly isn't on Netflix, but Victorious is. So we watched the whole series of that. 3 seasons, a bunch of episodes. The story behind it is that out in the Los Angeles area, there's this school called Hollywood Arts, which young people go to become artists, musicians, that sort of thing, actors. And one girl there, Trina Vega, is set to star in this show. But at the end, her tongue swells up and she can't do it, but her sister is backstage, Tori Vega. And they say, can you sing? And she's like, I guess. So they put her on stage and she's amazing. So she gets invited to Hollywood Arts right away. So she starts there and doesn't think, oh, I can't do this because it seems so weird from regular school. But she quickly forms friends with Kat, Beck, Andre, Robbie, and his little puppet man Rex, and a frenemy named Jade, Beck's girlfriend. And together they all have adventures at Hollywood Arts. They get into hijinks. They're cool episodes. Sam actually guest stars on one. They do like a Breakfast Club kind of imitation of an episode. It's just a very cool, very funny series, but with that Nickelodeon kind of goofy humor, right? The kids show humor, which I love. So very, very much worth the watch. I can't wait to find out Carly next, but we'll see about that. Last couple things. Been listening to Nevermind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols. The Sex Pistols formed in England in the mid-70s, and then released this lone album in 1977. Excuse me, my voice is screwed today. And it is the quintessential punk album. It's the best one ever. The Bird to Authority, sneering, snide, sarcastic vocals, those loose, powerful power chords driving the music. And I guess in the 70s in Britain, there was very class driven. Like if you were born low class, you had no chance. There was no room for you to be something good. And that's what a lot of their music is about. It's about that social scene and social structure and the fact that they're screwed and everybody else is screwed. And God Save the Queen, right? That's a direct diss to the Queen and to the monarchy and to the social structure of England. It's just an amazing disc. And I mean, everybody knows God Save the Queen and Anarchy in the UK. You've heard those songs a million times, but those are like, there's every other song is just as good, or if not better. Submission, 17, Liar, You're a Liar. It's so good, like so good. The best punk album ever. And if you don't have it in your collection and you call yourself a rock and roll fan, you need to go correct that problem right now. Last one, Megadeth, Rust in Peace. Again, another theme. Their fourth studio album from 1990. Despite there was big lineup changes for this one. 2 new members, 2 left, 2 came in, and it was the first time Marty Friedman joined the band, which he was a guitarist for them for a long time. And I don't know if he still is, but anyways, he's who I remember being their lead guitarist for a long time there. Perfectly crafted metal, riff heavy, fast, powerful, very much like the Sex Pistols, anti-authority, Big Brother's watching me, that sort of thing. It's kind of like punk metal almost, and in this on that disc, everything's just the same as the few discs before it, just perfectly crafted metal, like I said. But in this one, the vocals were a little bit different. A couple of different looks on the main vocals. None more obvious than Dawn Patrol, which was a really different kind of song. And I also noticed a lot more backing vocals from the band on this disc, which didn't factor in as heavily in the previous albums. So I noticed that difference too. But otherwise, it's just classic Megadeth. It's just fierce, amazing music you can throw on anytime and just listen to the whole thing straight through, which is always the sign of a good band and a good album. So anyways, that is all for now. I will talk to you soon, because I think I already have a bunch of other stuff I'm going to get up to this week, and hopefully post on here soon enough. So until then, have a great Testicle Tuesday, and we'll see you soon.